All right. Let's see how the audio sounds. Got some dogs barking in the yard. Okay. That looks good. All connected. We've been trying, guys, to figure out some of the technical issues we were having with the internet dropping and the stream getting interrupted. So I'm just going to pop over to here. Go to my channel. There we go. Check, 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 check. Okay, that sounds good. Hey, Miles is here. Tapas for breakfast is here. What's up, guys? Welcome in. Got a bit of breeze today, so hopefully the audio is gonna hang in there okay. It's also a good test for the tent canopy setup here. Hi, baby girl. Hi. What are you doing? Oh, you eating grass? I could see. Yeah, it was in your mouth. It was. All right, so we're gonna just go quickly. Do this. Pop into here. Got the pups too. Yeah, exactly. I like to have them out here with me when I'm out hitting balls and hanging out. Okay, so we'll go back to here so I can see the chat and then start loosening up to make some swings. Had a pretty busy day today, guys. A bunch of meetings. Did a bunch of editing as well. So that was pretty cool. And some beautiful weather, exactly, Tapas. I love that attitude. Really good positive attitude. This is our girl dog. Her name is Lily. We call her Baby Lil. Right? You're Baby Lil. You're Baby Lil. She said, oh, you gonna pay attention to me? You gonna pay attention to me? Yeah. Yeah, you're Baby Lil. We have, in fact, had her since she was just a baby, maybe 10 weeks old. I'm not sure how my wife feels, but I'm not convinced I would do the puppy thing again. It was an awesome experience. I really enjoyed, getting to watch a dog go from being, 10 pounds to 70 pounds and really growing up and developing a personality, and she's an amazing dog. But it was a lot of work. I mean, Young John's spit a 16. Tell me more about that. I had first day of school. Oh, that's always exciting. Trying to stay hydrated out here, guys, with our polar seltzer. A lot of work. I got a kitten a while ago and it was so easy. I believe it. I believe it. My brother had kittens that are now cats. They are very adorable. Oof. I have not hit any balls yet today, guys, or done any golf-related things with the exception of some mobility work I did maybe 20 minutes ago. Oh, now you're going to roll in the dirt? That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, there's not enough dirt in the house, she says. You got to have more. You can always have more dirt in the house, right, Dad? Look at you. You're a mess. Yeah, shake off. Silly girl. Oh, a really beautiful day here. Excuse me. Don't eat that, please. Don't eat that. Got our water here, too. Keaton Thompson said hi. What's up, Keaton? Oh, we were talking about puppies, yeah. Just so much work. I just, remember constantly being woken up in the middle of the night to take her out, or... She also had a lot of allergies we didn't know about early on, so the poor girl, wasn't gaining weight. She had terrible, GI issues right early in your life. See, look at all this dirt on you. You can't go in the house like this. Come on. Ugh. Really working on this kind of softness in the wrists to let that club just flow. Right, starting it back even with the handle that way. The caddy drag, if you will. Working on posture too, really trying to keep this spine angle here. So that's just, kind of quick update of what's going on. But she has so much dirt on her. She just rolled like in there and like... Oh my gosh, baby girl. She's really trying to get his neck. Oh, they're so good. Get him. What part of the country are you in? East Coast? Yeah, Rhode Island. Hey, bud, hope you're having a great day. You're doing great. Don't give up. Thanks very much. Yo, Johnny. Hey, what's up, spoof?
Lucky.
Oh, is he digging again? Yeah. Hey, how was the golf game the other day? It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for all the nice comments, guys. Really appreciate that. So what I thought we would do here, and why I titled the stream the way I did, was, just to create kind of an open forum, right? If people are going through stuff or have things on their mind that they want to talk about, and, this can be an open setting to do that. Just in a, to have somebody listening and talk about or chat about what's going on. It could be, stress at home or at work or whatever's on your mind. So just trying to, again, create this space for people. What's up?
Have they been fed?
No. He didn't eat his lunch, though.
Cheese on it?
No.
Also, why did you take the trash?
They didn't take anybody's.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. There must be an answer.
It's not that victory day, is it?
I have no idea. Bing, 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 bing. Good to be back hitting balls at home in the lab. Our plan to continue using this as a primary form of practice has really paid off, right? I went to the range yesterday and streamed, and just saw how good the striking was, how straight the ball was flying through the air. So really good to validate all the hard work, but I feel really good about the swing improvements and stuff we've been working on back here, and that it's going to translate. Try a shot with the ball the more away from you, please. Do you mean like a longer club? My best shot... That's a funny comment, Pat. Stylist said hi. Hey John, best shots with an 8-iron. How can I better accuracy with my other clubs? Just keep practicing, right? Remember that the further you hit the ball, the bigger the dispersion is going to be, right? We're aiming a cone, and the further, right, a driver cone is going to have a wider dispersion laterally than a sand wedge cone would, right? With that said, try to identify what it is you do in your swing that makes those shorter irons more effective and straighter. Generally, when this is the case, when people say, hey, I can really hit my short irons well, but I struggle as I get to, 7, 6, 5, 4 irons. If your swing tends to be a little steeper, right? Maybe not, super over the top, right? But just a little bit of steepness. You can get away with that with the shorter clubs, but it's going to get a lot harder to make solid contact. So, just things to keep in mind. Hard to say without seeing the swing for sure. But, if you really feel like I'm the one to, evaluate your swing, or you want my thoughts, send me a note on Instagram. I've had some followers do that and just say, hey, what do you see with my swing? Hey, Andrew's here. Happy Gilmore too. You sucka. Could be. Mason said hi. Hell, my wedge will be going out the top triangle. Well, it's only about, 7, 8 feet from here to the net, so I haven't had any issues with that. What's your Finsta? It's the same as here, guys. John Young Golf. We need a mod. Oh, that's okay. Don't worry about it, guys. I can handle it. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Good question. There's one that I've been having a lot. I like the Ben & Jerry's non-dairy ice cream. As I've gotten older, I've realized that, eating more dairy is not for me. But Ben & Jerry's, there's one called Americone Dream. And it's crazy. It's got all kinds of, chunks of stuff and caramel. It's pretty crazy ice cream. So yeah, I can put that down pretty quickly if need be. What's your favorite tattoo? Good question from Daddy Mark J. I don't know if I have a favorite one. I got a tattoo with my wife on our honeymoon. That was, one of my favorites that I have. A better answer, maybe the one on my chest, because I know that I never have to get that spot tattooed again. That was probably the most painful, 2.5 hour tattoo I've done, right here on my sternum. So that's a favorite, because I know I don't have to get that spot done again. I've been working on this Japanese traditional leg sleeve for about 1.5 years now, off and on. And really excited to have that finished. But that'll probably take another year. It sounds silly when you say it out loud, but it's easy to forget just how much bigger a leg is than an arm. I was able to do my arms. It felt like pretty quickly once I decided I was going to do that. Legs are they're just bigger. Alright, so like usual, hit some sand wedges to start, and I'll grab like an 8-iron. Yeah, like I was saying, guys, mental health check-in time. If there's something on your mind, something that's stressing you out, and you need somebody to listen or somebody to talk to about it, I'm here, right? That's why I wanted to, start doing this, just create a space for people to say, hey, maybe I don't have a good resource in my life. Well, I can come on the live stream here and at least know that somebody's listening and somebody will be, empathetic to what I'm going through. Do you know I can fix my pitch? If you can just explain to me quick, I struggle to hit it over a slope onto the green. Best bet for that kind of shot is going to be open the face and swing across it a little. You look like you'd be in my slow pitch softball league. I never played slow pitch softball. Just wanted to let you know he called you a sucker. Thanks, Miles. Every time I hit a ball, it goes to the left. I got my sleeve done in one 16-hour session. That's awesome, dude. That sounds like a hard day of sitting and good work to put in. I imagine the healing process after one, a whole day with that much inflammation would be a bit arduous as well. Every time I hit a ball, it goes to the left. We'll get the face open, Mason. Practice hitting it to the right. See how far to the right you can get it. Right? And then you try to just dial in from there. Try to go back and forth, right? Can you get one drawing? Can you get one fading? Just try to build that connection. How do you control the face and the path into the ball, right? Just got into golfing like a week ago. Any tips at all? Great question, Cryptic. I would tell you, practice your impact position a lot, right? How, learn and try to practice how the club and the club face interact with the ball and the ground, especially with your irons, right? So one way you could do that, or that I would recommend, is just practicing at a really slow speed, especially when you're learning. You don't need to be making, big, long, full swings like you see on TV, just bashing balls at the range. I would rather have you grab like a 9-iron or a pitching wedge maybe. Try to hit it 30 yards in the air, 40 yards in the air, right? And you're just going to make a really little swing. But you want to practice getting the ball up in the air, obviously, right? Striking the ball first and then the turf. Trying to hit it, in the center of this club face. And just building that skill over and over again at a slower speed, right? You don't need a lot of speed to really start practicing your striking. And you'll have a much, much better time, improving your skills, starting to hit better golf shots once you've developed that skill, right, of how do I get this club face onto that ball within the confines of my own, athletic ability, swing, your body ability, that kind of stuff. Hey, Tom's in here. What's up, Tom? I'm headed your way. I'm headed to the UK soon. Mason said hi. LW Fitness is here. CJ said hi again. What's up, CJ? Can we start a hook slice question counter? Mason is also from the UK. Very cool. Does anything beat you because right now you can save... Oh, Jet2 Holiday. Cryptic, what your Fort username? Oh, Fortnite. Your videos are more enjoyable while floating in the pool. Well, that works, Sycamore. Yeah, it's a really hot day. A lot of places. I think we're going to be getting more and more of that. How long have you been golfing? Good question, Cryptic. I have been playing golf seriously for probably 15 years. Since high school. I started playing high school golf and then junior tournaments. And then college tournaments. And now just, like washed up mid-am tournaments. I also recorded for you guys. I'm going to work on it, hopefully while I'm traveling, to still have some content coming out while I'm on vacation. We're going to have a review or a overview of the setup that I use for hitting in my backyard. And some drill videos, right? What are some drills for beginners? How can you improve your iron ball striking, right? Oh, that wasn't hit well. Towed it. Where in the UK are you off to? We're going to a wedding in London. I just want some Pro V1Xs in a bet. Are they good? They are good. Yeah, give those a try. Very cool. Cryptic, we are in Rhode Island. Miles has to go. Thanks for being here, Miles. I appreciate you. Thank you guys for all your support on the channel. Pretty cool, guys. I had no idea that we could get to, like, above 3,000 subscribers already. just 7 months into doing YouTube. I would love to be able to film some stuff while I'm overseas, but I don't know if golf is going to happen. Be nice to find a driving range even, you know. Tom, what's the driving range culture like in the UK? We're going to Ireland too, actually. Ireland and London. Because if I go 10 days without swinging a club, it could be ugly when I get back, guys. You know, I might be shanking balls. My neighbors' houses could be in danger. Nice, that sounds fun. Beckham said hi. Hey, Beckham. 241 is great, LW. Just keep up the hard work, right? You know, golf is something that takes most people lots of time to, you know, master and develop a high skill level in. So just keep at it. Don't be discouraged if it, you know, obviously as you get better, it's going to be up and down. Just stick with it. Are the Callaway AI 200 irons good? I've never tried them, Beckham. But lots of good players use Callaway equipment. I imagine they make pretty good stuff. But I will admit, mostly because of just the shape of the woods, they don't look, you know, the way that my eye likes them to look. You know, I like that more traditional, like TaylorMade or Titleist driver shape. So I haven't had a whole lot of experience with the Callaway stuff. Same, but I hit my drive 271 carry one time. That's awesome, Cryptic. Yeah, if you guys are just getting into golf, it can be a really fun way to get outside, you know, have a game that you can play for your whole life. And if you're getting into it now when you're, you know, in your teens or early 20s, it's only going to pay off later in life, right? I talk to so many people who are like, man, I wish I had started playing sooner, you know. So definitely, you know, learn how to hit the ball far, develop some speed, you know, as you're developing your journey. Beckham says, I love your live stream. Thanks very much, Beckham. If you guys are enjoying the live stream like Beckham, you want to hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out. And like I said earlier, guys, if you have, you know, this is a place to talk about stuff. Right? I made that video that I posted today about going to therapy and putting in, you know, some hard work in that arena and what that's like. So go check that out. But I know not everybody has access to those resources or, you know, is ready to take that step. So if this can be a safe space that people want to just say, hey, man, I've been having a rough time and we can chat about it. That's, you know, that's what I want to be here for. Obviously, I'm not a therapist, and you should definitely use that tool if it's something you're interested in. Feels so different just having that kind of fluidity in the wrists in my swing instead of trying to just really be rigid and hold that club face. Glad I start now. That's awesome, Cryptic. Can you do a Happy Gilmore hit? Does anybody else in the chat know about these Callaway irons? I've never tried them, so I don't want to steer you wrong, Beckham. But you know, something I like to do is look at you know, reviews. You can watch what YouTubers put online about, you know, different clubs if they've tried them. So you could search in YouTube for those AI 200 irons. All right. Oh, thinned it. Let's try again. Oh, that was better. It is hard, that Happy Gilmore swing. I was thinking it could be fun to do a whole 9 holes, like playing Happy Gilmore. You know, even on putts and stuff, like have to kind of run up and try to tap it in. That could be funny. Where did you play college golf? I played club golf at a school here in Boston. Jonathan says, worth it. Hell yeah. She is so cute. Who are you talking about? Oh, Mason has to go. See you, Mason. How good are you? What do you say? No. How good are you? I think I'm okay at golf. My handicap's usually around 0. It's gone up to 2 this year. I was a +1 last year. And to start this year, and then I played some pretty bad golf in the spring. Went up to like a 2. But there's obviously levels to this stuff, guys. I'm keenly aware of how, really not very good even like a 0 handicap is. There's levels to this, as people like to say. I've played golf with guys who played on mini tours and tried to play pro golf, and I'm like, that's the best golfer I've ever seen in my life. And that guy's like, dude, I couldn't even make a living doing this. It wasn't good enough to make it. It's really hard. The guys you see on TV every week are just insanely good. Got a sub for that hit. Shout out to Jonathan. Thanks, Jonathan. Logan says you're so good. Yeah, we're going to keep working at it. Can you carry 250 with your driver? I definitely can. We were in here. We were doing some speed training the other day, and we got up to 168 ball speed. So that's carrying about 290 in the air. Got a little launch monitor set up over here for driver stuff when we're doing that. I'm left-handed golfer. Help me stop slicing left. Well, if you're slicing it, right, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, all that's telling you is that the club face is open at impact, right, and the path is somewhat out to in, right, relative to your target line. So for you, I imagine the swing is kind of inside and then steep, right, so the face is open, the ball is curving this way to the left, right? What I would have you do, practice, aim like you're going to hit it right down the center of the fairway, right? And then force yourself, hit 5 balls in a row. Say, I'm going to hit them all into the right trees or the right rough, right? You got to force yourself to, whatever you have to do, get that ball going over that way, right? You got to teach yourself how to close the club face. And by giving yourself a task orientation, instead of turn your wrist this way or do this in your swing, right? I'm just telling you, hit the ball over there. Your brain will know how to do that, right? You just have to let your body, do what it's being told to do. What do you reckon you would shoot from the reds? I played 9 holes from the red tees this week, and I think I shot 3 under with a couple 3 putts in 9 holes. So, several under par, I would say, from the red tees. That could be a fun challenge to do or video to make. And the idea was I was trying to do a break 30 from the red tees challenge and did not get it done, right? I mentioned, a bunch of 3 putts, but it was definitely doable. The golfing guy. Who's your favorite golfer? Right now, I tell people Ludwig. I just love his golf swing. I love how fast he plays. I think he's going to win a lot of golf tournaments in the future. How to stop hips from rotating too early? Good question, Gavin. My best advice here would be to really do a lot of body work, right? In slow motion, you're not hitting golf balls, right? If you're saying, I get to here, my hips are just instantly kind of going this way, kicking the club out and steepening it. You just got to go really slow, right? And try to sequence how you want the swing to feel, right? So for you, it's going to feel like the hips are just really stalling or not moving while the arms start to come down, right? So you could practice just feeling this, letting the arms and hands drop, and then the hips go, right? So trying to teach yourself to delay that hip, release or, turning of the hips. Ranger James said, thank you, you're welcome. Love the net return, dude. Thanks, Dodge. If you're ever in the market for a net return, remember me, guys. Grab the code in the description for 10% off. It's the only product that I'm affiliated with in any way. I truly think it's, going to last me a decade. When you compare it to, like I hit 1 bucket of range balls yesterday, it was $15. So, let's say I wanted to do that twice a week, or God forbid you're like me and like to hit a lot of golf balls, hit 2 buckets twice a week. That starts to add up really quick. So you say, oh, well, I don't know if I would invest. This probably in total cost me $1,200, for the canopy, the mat, the net return. The net return $700 for the pro one. But when you, say, okay, well, I could spend $60 a week on range balls to then have unlimited balls out here whenever I want. Oh, and by the way, it's in the privacy of my own backyard. So that was my thought process in, like, investing in a setup like this. Love feeling that kind of crisp contact. Jonathan, is it bad I enjoy a good game of golf, but I prefer a driving range, just a different feeling? That's not bad at all, dude. This is a hobby. This is a thing we do for fun. And if you say, hey, I have more fun on the driving range practicing, I think you're not alone in that. I love practicing. I love working on my game, hitting different shots. Gavin said, thanks. You're welcome. 1,200. Damn, I need to start selling golf supplies. You could get that at Harbor Freight for like $100. Maybe. The net is $695. The tent was like $100. $100. I thought that wasn't too bad. The mat I think was $150, and with the other materials, there's some cushioning under here, and this 2x4 box that I built. This bit was probably $250. So I was just doing quick math, for the whole thing, right? But yeah, go for it, dude. If you're like, hey, if you can get in that business and start a business selling golf stuff, that would be, I'm all for it. I'm sure I could have jerry-rigged something that was cheaper and more temporary, but, I've already had to pack this guy up and move it, which went great. It's just really well built. I'm convinced that it will last me truly 10 years. I could be hitting balls into this net. Clearly the mat is going to be, replaced sooner than that because of all the balls we've hit already. I don't think I can hit it any better than that. That's why I really want to get a launch monitor set up out here, more permanently. He's curious why the net is so expensive. I think it's just built to last. It's, that's what components cost. I don't know. That's how much they charge for it. You could ask them. You could probably build a net, but at a professional level, it probably has warranty. I'd say going for that was worth it. Not all nets are made the same. Yeah, that was my thought too, right? You can get something cheap on Amazon for $100 and then be pissed when it breaks in 3 months. Or you buy once, cry once, and invest in your setup. And it's not for everybody, right? Some people would say, hey, I'd never spend, $700 to play Pebble Beach. Well, other people would, right? There's a reason why they charge that much. So it's okay if your commitment to something isn't to the same level as other people. That's totally okay. Like I said, guys, this is a hobby, so you can be as invested or not as you like. It is still warm out here. You pay for what you get in some circles. Do you watch Good Road Trip? I haven't watched that one yet. I spent $1,200 in beer in the last 2 months. It's funny. Hey, Ironstar, I'm not here to change your mind or to argue with you. You know, if your definition of things is different than mine, or, you know, we don't see eye to eye, that's okay. Oh, who's that? Who's that lady?
I
Hi.
think there's like turkey sauerkraut sandwiches maybe for dinner.
Oh,
We have food. I don't want to get a waste. And also Monday was a state holiday, which is why none of the stuff has been.
well, clearly nobody knew.
Well, because we're the only state in the country that celebrates it. So that's fun. Can't have this. You can smell it. No.
Set a better example. Competition golf on the horizon. Can't wait. This weekend club championship at the beach seeing family. Tomorrow headed back to get ready. That's awesome, Garrett.
I knew it was him.
I just want to understand your perspective. Oh, don't worry, Iron Star. You're good. No, it's perfectly fine. You know, okay to say like, hey, help me understand. To be honest with you, for me, knowing that it was a reputable product that was going to last for a really long time and that would be easy to set up by myself, that was the reason why I was willing to invest in it to that extent. I have no doubt that you could, you know, that you could make do with something that was less costly. No doubt. Well, like I said in the title, guys, mental health check-in time. I posted earlier about my therapy experience. I wanted to, you know, create a space for people to come and say, hey, I've been struggling with X, Y, or Z, and, you know, maybe this forum can be more accessible for somebody than taking that step of doing therapy, or you know, doing something more official than that. But I know myself, it can be helpful just to say, hey, you know, I want somebody to hear what I'm going through and say, yeah, that sounds tough, right? Sometimes that can be really beneficial. If you guys are enjoying the stream, hanging out, having a good time, hit that subscribe button. We'll get the notifications when we are live again. Hi, Superstar. She said, I know there's more attention over here for me. Right? Right? Oh, more attention for me. Where you going? Where you going? Huh? You like rubber golf tees? Yeah? You want this? No, that's not a toy. Gotcha. Gotcha. What? Surprised you're spending so much time out here. Usually an indoor girl. Always got to make sure they're out of the danger zone. I love dogs, man. Usually so much better than people. Zork says, do you have a sim? Tyneside, what launch monitors have you considered, if any? I have considered... I've considered the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro. I've thought about like a Garmin people say good things about. There's a Bushnell version that people think is good. Ideally, I would like something that I can use, you know, both here with the net setup and at the driving range, or on the golf course to get data. But to be honest, it's not in my budget currently. We were just talking about this with Ironstar. It's not in my budget to invest in a launch monitor. So I've got this old PRGR one that does okay with driver club head speed, but everything else is pretty iffy with hitting into the net. So it's definitely on the list. It just hasn't happened yet. What net is that? Net return? Grip it and rip it like daily. There you go. What club? This is an 8-iron. I want to know what net that is. It's a Net Return Pro. Looks like P7 or something. Oh, these are the Tacoma 301 CB irons, guys. These are really attractive looking down behind the ball, but still have a little bit of perimeter weighting, so when I don't strike it precisely in the center of the face, I'm still getting a good flight on it. I had played a set of 2011 TaylorMade blades prior to these for a really long time, and love those clubs still, you know, held on to them. Hello, Mr. B. I'm not going to bother you if you don't bother me. What do you think, baby girl? What do you think? Huh? I don't want to startle you when I hit the net. She says, yeah, that's not for me, Dad. Man, I was hoping it would cool down, but it is still quite warm out here. Hi.
I don't feel like studying, but I don't feel like packing. I'm like, part of me, I'm like, I'm on vacation.
Feel that. Jonathan's opinion on the Hyper Golf in Happy Gilmore 2. It was a little silly, right? I didn't love the, you know, Maxi League antagonists. They were kind of annoying. But it gave me enough of what I was hoping for. You know, the cameos, the nostalgia, the throwbacks to the original one. I was happy with Happy Gilmore 2. I could see why people were like, it's not a good movie, because, well, the first one wasn't really a great movie either. It's an amazing movie, right? I grew up on that film, but, you know, it's an Adam Sandler movie. It's not what you're there for. So I thought it was really well done. What about the Arcos, things that go in the end of the club? So at Tyneside, I did use Arcos for a number of years. Ultimately, when they increased the subscription price to, like, I think it was almost $200 a year, I decided that wasn't worth it for me, and I gave up on Arcos. I also tried one called Shot Scope, and could not honestly get it to work. I set it all up, I set up the bag, put the sensors in. I tried 3 or 4 times on the golf course to, you know, I watched YouTube videos. You know, I might have had a defective model, but could not get that one to work either. Shout out to Squirrel Sniper. What type of feedback do you get by using a net compared to just a range? Great question, Ironstar. So, they're just different tools, in my opinion. This is something that I can use, you know, at home whenever I want. Obviously, the limitation is you can't see the ball flying through the air, which, you know, if you're practicing trajectories or, you know, hitting at targets, that's necessary for sure. But for me to be able to work on my ball striking, right, how I, can I consistently get the center of this club face on the ball, right? And whether that's just by repetition at slow speed or by doing, specific drills where I'm, maybe moving my body around, trying to recreate or replicate feels. I find that hitting into the net when you're doing mechanical stuff can actually be easier, right? Because it takes the target out, right? Because imagine you're working on a new swing move, right? But when you're doing it, you haven't yet learned how to close the club face. And so while the new move might be more correct, if you see the ball, flying way, way to the right, you might give up on that, new move because you're like, I don't like what the ball's doing, right? But in here, you don't get that negative feedback. So you can work on stuff and just hit shots and do all kinds of crazy, like body movements and really exaggerate those feels in a way that I think is more difficult when you have the target out there. I find using a net allows you to focus more on actual mechanics. At the range, you get distracted by ball flight. Well, that's exactly what I just said. So that worked out great. I agree. Glad that Tyneside agrees. Vinny says, how's she look? You tell me, Vinny. It's cheaper in the long run to get technique down at the range to check your progress. You can set up a camera like John does, easier at home. Have you considered standing on different surface types to simulate a real course, perhaps a patch of thick grass or rocks? That is an interesting question. I've not considered testing different lies because I think from a maintenance perspective that would be really hard. But I do think something I want to work on is eventually, right, you can imagine if this wasn't just dug into the ground, maybe there's a concrete pad here or something and a platform. There might be a mechanism by which we could create, downhill lies or side hill lies, right? Because that's something that I struggle to take from the practice tee to the golf course, right? Because I stand here on a pretty flat lie and I practice hitting off of a clean lie, right? But sometimes, you're even in the fairway, you can be on a slope and having to hit, down on it, or, the ball can be above your feet up here. So that's really hard to replicate away from the golf course. But it's a great question. I've never considered repeatedly hitting rocks with my clubs, I have to be honest. Well, I think there's some good examples of crazy pros over the years doing stuff like that. Having beat up clubs and hitting off of cart paths and plywood and all kinds of stuff. Been doing a lot of this caddy drag move to practice, just really trying to keep the flow in the swing, keep the club on the plane. It feels really strange at first, but gosh, I cannot argue with the results. Yesterday was at the range was the best I hit it all season, I think. Oh, that was hit really good. Tell you what, guys, the standing up to some pretty good wind right now, and it's it's got nice protection in here. I don't think it's too loud, like it would be out in the open air. Obviously, drops the temperature a little bit being out of the sun, which is great. Hey, Ethan's here. What's up, Ethan? What's your favorite tattoo that you have? You could have boards with various materials attached to them that are interchangeable and storable. That's a great idea. I really like where you're going with that, Iron Star. I don't know if I have a favorite tattoo. Obviously, the one that I got with my wife, she has a similar one from our honeymoon, was really fun. If I had to pick one, that would probably be my favorite, but I have so many, it's hard to even keep track of them, frankly. Of course I remember you. If I sing this Joker at the golf course, I would laugh my ass off. Why would you be singing at a golf course? Do you think Prime Tiger could win against the best players in the world today? I think Prime Tiger would beat the best players in the world today by 10 shots like he did the best players in the world 20 years ago. Bet you're fun at parties. Love it. Love a good little chat. Not good. I have 3 subscribers. Well, that's okay. Don't worry about that. Just keep having fun making content if that's what interests you. You know, the audience will grow as you continue making stuff that you feel good about. Looks like you are hitting a fade. Yeah, it's largely trying to feel that way, right? I like to see the ball go, you know, honestly pretty straight, and if anything, just fall to the right. I'm not, you know, mostly trying to hit draws or fades. The ball's been drawing a lot of the year, which is okay. But I often am, I'm really just trying to hit it pretty straight. I really hate, the one thing I don't like is seeing the driver go left. You know, I can aim left and hit a big cut all day if that's what I've got with the driver, but playing a hook is can be really tough off the tee. Just feels nice and crispy at the moment, which is great. Let's grab a longer club. I'll grab like a 5-iron. Hit some of these. If you guys are enjoying hanging out, bantering in the chat, hit that subscribe button for me. Or if you have questions about your own game or clubs. Seems to be working. Six swing spot with my old lady would go for this. Is there a GOAT debate in golf, or is it just Tiger? Well, so, I mean, Jack Nicklaus has more majors, but different eras. I think they can both be, you know, the GOATs of their own time. Can you please bring my laptop charger down from my office?
Yeah, also I found out that video on time.
Why?
You're spending more time hunting and spending more time hunting, you can take less fishing
food.
the ocean because
Great.
real life is
Yeah. Six swing. Oh, so let me catch up here. Keep putting out short. Subs will come. Do 3 a day. Watch what happens. Great idea, Squirrel Sniper. I did that early on as well. I was posting 2-3 times a day.
Where is it?
By the TV. Thank you.
In your office or downstairs?
In my office. Get the Happy Gilmore 2 surgery. That's a great idea, Andrew, right? If I, you know, there was a time in life when I thought I was having back surgery, not because I was trying to hit the golf ball further, but because my back was in such bad shape that I thought that might be what was coming next, but fortunately I was able to get that resolved. What irons do you play? These are the Tacoma 301 CB irons. Really quality looking shape and top line on these. They're definitely more forgiving than the blades I was playing before. I played the 2011 TaylorMade MBs for a really long time in my C-taper shafts. Give us a stinger. We can do a stinger Tyneside. Shout out to Ethan. Although, Ethan, I would remind you, or I would, you know, give anyone this advice, right? That, you know, eventually your audience will be its own audience, right? Not just, you know, because I'm shouting you out. Tacomos, there you go. Chihoito is here. Hey, Chiho. Thanks. Appreciate you.
Welcome.
Oh, we have another superstar on the stream. That's a good job, buddy. Says, I don't care what you're going to hit golf balls into there. You silly guy. Are you a silly guy? Do you want to say hi to the people? You want to be a superstar? You want to be a superstar? What? What are we doing? Oh, that's a big stretch. That's a big stretch. What are you doing? He says, nope, there's some grass over here I need to sniff. All right, what are we going to do? We're going to hit a stinger. Can we see driver setup? How do the Tacomos compare to P790s? They look similar. I've never hit the P790s, to be honest. What's up, FBI? Sakes, LOL. I'm using Sim2 Max currently. Really enjoying them. That sounds nice. Scotty Newport Original. Very cool. All right, so we were going to hit a stinger for Tyneside. This isn't going to be perfect because I've got a 5-iron. Usually I would use like a 2-iron. But for the courses I've been playing recently, I've needed the higher lofted ones, right? The 7-wood, the 5-wood. Oh, lost our microphone a little. So regardless, setup's going to be pretty similar for me to hit a stinger, right? The ball's, you know, in the center or maybe half a ball back. I'm going to open my stance a bunch. The, you know, the backswing is maybe going to be 3/4, and then I'm just going to cut it off on the follow through and really kind of stack the weight on my front side. Right, and that ball's going to come out, you know, really straight and low. Little hint for you, if you're trying stinger on the golf course, and especially if you're hitting off a tee, tee it up a little. Give yourself a little bit of airspace, right, to get that ball up off the ground. Because when you're hitting really down on it, you know, you want that, give the ball time to get out there and launch. What's his name? Ollie Schneiderjans has one of the best stingers of all time. He hit one, I think it was at Eastlake. They calced it went like 270 and the apex was maybe 14 feet. You'll see that one in a lot of stinger videos. And just, you'll see how high he had it teed up off the ground to hit it, you know, that hard with that low of launch. Matrix said hi. What's up, Matrix? Vince Lord said thumbs down. Tell me more, Vince Lord. Well said, that ended that debate. Let me know if I missed any other questions or comments. Do you find it is actually a useful shot to have in the locker, or is it more the looks? It's definitely a useful shot. It's, you know, I've had to go to the stinger a bunch, you know, at times when maybe I'm playing a tight golf course and my driver's, you know, maybe it's not the strategic play, maybe my driver's misbehaving at that time and I just don't feel confident, and you know, I can pull out a 2-iron and really confidently, right, just hit that low one. It's going to fly pretty straight. You know, I play in New England, right? So the shoulder season, think, you know, March, April, and then October, November. It can get pretty cold and windy. And that stinger shot, you know, in the wind can be a versatile weapon. It's a good skill to develop, not just for, you know, hitting long irons, right, off of the tee, but, you know, I've hit plenty of, you know, stinger 8-irons, right? I can remember playing in some crazy wind, and I hit 7-iron from 130, and I hit 7-iron the next hole because it was downwind from 210, right? They were both 7-irons. Obviously, I hit them differently. The first one, you know, you really are trying to flight it, keep the flight down, out of the wind, as opposed to downwind. You know, you want to take advantage of that and launch it up in the air. Henry Lemontree said strike. RST is here. Hey, RST, thanks for stopping in. I'm in northern England, so I know all about that sort of weather. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm actually headed to Ireland and then London myself. Not too long, you know, not too far from now. So I'm really excited about that trip. That's about as good as I can hit an 8-iron. Another nice benefit of the net return, guys, like you can see, you know, if you hit it well and you hit it hard enough, most of the time it's going to pop right back to you. You know, like when Bryson demonstrates it, he just hits 3 woods into it. And obviously, he hits those really hard. And he's like, you can practice with just one ball. So that's a cool benefit. But sometimes they'll get caught up or the other golf balls get in the way. What's your most birdies in one round? Good question, Shane. I made 6 birdies and an eagle in the round where I shot 64. I made 5 birdies a number of times. I don't know if I made more than 6. I would say 6 is probably the most I've made in a round. Maybe I could go back and find a round where I made 7 birdies and like had a couple silly doubles or something, but yeah, those are fun rounds when you can you know, make some putts, hit some good shots close to the hole. Usually take advantage of the par 5s. Get some links golf in. I would love to. We're actually going for a wedding though, so I don't know if there will be time for golf. I'm hoping maybe to get to the driving range, see what the driving range is like over there. Maybe film something while I'm abroad. That could be cool. And also, you know, I don't really want to go 8, 9, 10 days without swinging a club. That feels like it would be a bad idea. Thought that was the Sugar Show at first. Purgatory in Indianapolis is the closest I've ever had to a links course. Okay. Do you hit fairways? Oh, fairway woods. Well, I always struggle with mine. Any advice on hitting fairway woods better? That's awesome. Must have been a fun game. Yeah, it definitely was. Definitely was. So my advice for hitting fairway woods, right? You know, hitting that 3 wood or 5 wood off the deck. I always tell people to play it a little bit further back in your stance than you think, right? You know, maybe a ball forward of center, but I see people sometimes trying to hit them like a driver almost off their front foot on the fairway, or even, you know, even off the tee with a 3 wood, right? I think you can be, you know, much further back in the stance than people think. And from there, I think, you know, because it's so important to hit the center of the face, right? You know, swing it at 90%, somewhere 95%, somewhere that you can feel confident you're going to give yourself a great chance to hit the center of the club face, right? Because, you know, hitting it that extra 10 yards, if you blast it off to the right or left, it's not going to do you any good. So I always try to think about making a balanced swing where I'm focused on the contact, and that leads, you know, to a lot of good strikes with a fairway wood. All right, so I've got a 5 wood here. Let's hope we're not going to hit anything up there. Right, so I've got the ball, you know, probably a ball forward of center, right? And I'm just going to stay nice and balanced. Hit that ball first, you know, try and get in the center of the face. Boom, you're off and running. All right. Hit some more short irons, maybe. How about some... Oh, that's where the pitching wedge went. All right, 9 irons, fine. We'll hit some 9 irons. Cheers for that. Yeah, you're welcome, Tyneside. If you guys are enjoying hanging out, like our new friends in Northern England, hit that subscribe button for me. Try to do these live streams pretty close to every day, obviously, you know, when we're not on vacation. And, you know, try to post different shorts, different videos on a daily basis, and then longer stuff every week or two. Just posted a 9-hole match video against a friend of mine who I played college golf with. That was a really fun back and forth match with a bunch of birdies. So if I miss a few in a row, what I'll do is I'll just slow it down, you know, really dial in on the things I'm working on. Try to find that crisp, compressed strike again. And once you do that, you can go back to, you know, the stuff you're working on before. Some fuller swings. What time is it? We're going, all right. Do you use a 5-wood? Yeah, so currently, guys, I have a very interesting bag setup. I've got driver, 5-wood, 7-wood, 5 hybrid, then 5 iron through pitching wedge, and then my wedges are 52, 56, and 60 degrees. I'll be honest, driving ranges over here aren't as good as over the Atlantic. We don't have the open ones you guys seem to have. More just a bunch of bays lined up. Oh, that's okay. Vince Ward is still in here watching my swing. That's amazing. You're never gonna make everybody happy, guys. That's, you know. But the sad part is, right, like if you're out there struggling or having a bad time and you're like, well, maybe I'll just go, you know, find other people or strangers and I can bring negativity there and that will make me feel better. You know, I think we've all had that impulse, right? But once you know, get older and mature, you realize, like, it's actually not just, it's not effective. It doesn't really work. You're not going to find yourself feeling better after being, you know, super negative out in the world, whether that's, you know, in real life or on the internet. So yeah, you know, you interact with those people and I mostly just feel empathy and sadness for them, right? Like if that's how you're spending your time, then, you know, it just feels like there are maybe other more effective mechanisms to, you know, try to feel better. Really trying to keep this angle here. All right, guys, I think we'll hit the rest of these. See what other questions are in the chat. Oh boy, squirrel sniper. Way to go, squirrel sniper. Hey, Logan's here. He's just trolling. Your swing is pure. Bet his swing looks like a genuine war crime. Gonna start coaching my daughter in golf this fall. That sounds fun, Sycamore. 2 types of people on YouTube, those that are actually introducing change energies, and then like Elijah here just crying out for help. My wife's boyfriend hit a hole-in-one today. That's funny. Enjoy your content and exchange energy. Yeah. What's your favorite course you've ever played? Wow. Great question. I've been really lucky to play a ton of awesome golf courses. I mean, I think the Ocean course is probably the highest rated. You know, I think it's like number 2 or number 3 public course in the country that I've played. Whistling Straits was incredible. I honestly think Cabot Cliffs might be like my favorite just golf experience. I mean, it's so crazy the way it's just carved into the cliffs. Some of the views and the water and, you know, that was a really special experience. That was hit so good. Banff, definitely a bucket list for me. Looks absolutely breathtaking. Yeah, that's one. I've seen a lot of that one on YouTube. There's a lot of cool Canadian content creators, it seems. And that course looks incredible. A bunch of those, Canadian mountain golf courses. Pretty solid there. Thank you guys for hanging out, making this a pleasant stream. I've enjoyed all the discussion, some great questions. Right, and like I said in the title, I want this to be a place where people can, just have a safe space to talk about stuff that's going on and know that somebody's going to listen and be empathetic. Oh yeah, that's the crispy one. The extra crispy one right out of the center. All right, guys. That's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you so much for all the support. Oh, that sounds awesome, Squirrel Sniper. St. Andrews in 99. Very cool. Thank you again for all the support, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Drop a like on the stream. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.